So yesterday and day before, like we were discussing objects that you all have seen around you all and things that are very useful. So what she has done is she's trying to show these objects to people and she's doing them in a very uncomfortable way, such that the usefulness is no longer valid. So this actually is to get our attention to these objects so that we don't really forget their use. So, like we discussed the cup day before, and how the opening on the cup and its proportions are very important. Something so elongated would definitely make a user uncomfortable. So, this is a spoon, and you would definitely have problems eating it, right? Eating with it. So, in a design of a spectacles, the part that sits on your nose, it's something that sits very delicately and important. If you have something of this sort, it's going to poke your nose. A spoon, a fork that you wouldn't be able to eat it with. And this is where the thickness of the button is highly elongated. So the thinness of a button actually makes you put your shirt on top of it, like the hole goes through because the thickness is less. But if you have something of this sort, it's going to be a problem. Now, when we discussed about how an object is understandable yesterday in some objects, something of this sort is just visually communicating to you that this is something that's very um, strong and something that's very heavy for you to pick up. So you wouldn't really take it up itself. The bottom part, this part in the gumboot, is something that's the most crucial because you wouldn't want water to be interfering at this point. So she's made an opening in gumboots here to make it look very uncomfortable. So I showed you these slides only to get your attention to the comfort of an object, and we'll head off to the first design story that is between Konstantin Gurcic and Magis. So Magis is an Italian company. It's a very typical Italian company that has a lot of number while making productions. And till 1990s, it was known as a company that does versatile work with plastic. And Konstantin Gurcic is a very famous industrial designer. And they both came together on this thought that let's make an outdoor chair, a chair that's more outdoor than indoors, and let's exploit the production technique of die-cast aluminum in this chair. So essentially, what you see is you have a seat that is, and I think you all must have seen this definitely because a lot of copies are made of this chair in plastic and they are put to use in cafes, hotels for sure. So the top is one piece, and the legs, which are symmetrical and of the same design, they get manufactured in aluminum but by a different method because it's a very simple section that's extruded. Now we'll first look at what's aluminum die casting so that you all have an idea. Is the video visible to you guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just hold on. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
In the die casting process, The reusable steel dies, or molds, are preheated and coated with a dye release agent to lubricate and protect the surfaces of the dies before each use. Next, pre-measured amounts of molten metal are injected into the dies at extremely high pressures. The newly formed part is then removed from the dies, and the cycle is repeated after the die cools. The dies must be stronger than those used in the permanent mold process to withstand the high-pressure injections. These dies can be engineered to produce complex shapes with a high degree of accuracy and repeatability. Dies can be used many thousands of times, so the die casting process is used when very large quantities are needed. Die cast parts can be sharply defined with smooth or textured surfaces and are suitable for a wide variety of finishes. This high pressure process produces a dense, fine.
Yeah. So what happens in die casting is, at least in this chair, what they have done is the top, which is this geometry, gets made in one piece. And since there are numbers that are produced in like thousands, this proves to be an economical production technology for it. Now, what they have done is the top part is actually taking inspiration from a very complex 3D shape, which is going to give the user comfort. So, the designer has broken up this geometry into planar shapes, which still give you the comfort and is simpler to look at. This part of it has more aluminum as well as these junctions because these need to be strong. So this is a batch of die casted aluminum that's coming out, and after this process you can give the outer finish in various ways. So there's a huge variety in the finishes that you can buy it. So this is how it gets casted and comes out in one piece. Now, what the designer and the company further did was they developed a series of furniture taking inspiration from the top that they had made. So, this as well is an outdoor chair, but it sit on tops of a monolithic concrete structure. And if you see the complexity over here, which is visual complexity, it gets contrasted by something that's very clean and crisp on this. So there's a lot of there's very less visual traffic because of this contrast, and your eye gets immediately drawn to the top. Now what they've smartly done is the production for this also happens in such a way that the top remains the same, obviously, and then they just have to put this fitment here so that it touches the concrete base. They also have a rim here to the concrete at the bottom, that so that the concrete won't chip off, it won't have edges. They went ahead and designed bar stools on the same geometry. And this seating is a public urban seating. So what happens is the top is again the same, and this assembly is basically sitting on two of these supports. So in the middle, obviously you don't need it, and since you need it at the ends only, the concrete base is provided here. Now this example is something different in aesthetics according to me, what we had seen previously, because they didn't have a very strong design language. But this, since it's a seating piece and it wants to call out for attention, is sober yet it's really stunning for a context.